Hello and welcome to Level Up and Friends, the weekly podcast for those of us from the comic book and video game store Level Up Entertainment. Invite on some friends and we have a topic we're passionate about. This week we're talking about Harley Quinn, not just the new cartoon, which I alluded to in a previous episode that we'll be talking about, but just the character in general. Your host this week, Scott, and joining me is Harley Quinn superfan, Olivia.
Hi, I'm Olivia.
How's it going, Olivia? How you doing?
Going good. I'm doing great. How are you?
All right, doing okay now that we're sitting here chatting.
Yes.
Before we were talking, I was mentioning because 2020 being the dumpster fire year that it was, we haven't actually spoken to each other in like a year.
I
think we've talked via text a few times.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah, so no, I'm really excited to have you. In case anyone doesn't know, Olivia has been featured at our store a couple of times. She does like those big epic beat arts, like you've probably seen her Kylo Ren. It's been in the store since, oh my God, when did The Force Awakens come out? Because it came out, you did that before then, right?
I did.
Oh my God.
That was a long time ago. Was that 2017?
Yeah, I want to say 2017. The whole trilogy's done now and has been done for over a year.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So we've known you for how long now?
I was coming to you guys when I was in high school. I was like,
oh, don't tell me that.
15 or 16.
Oh.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Oh, now you're getting married and it's just, oh God.
When you put it that way, it's so frightening.
I know. Oh, dude, sometimes people come in and see the Nintendo games. They're like, what is this? And their parents are like, it's a video game. They're like, this isn't a video game.
Oh, no.
Oh, anyway, I just turned 35. So, my body's falling apart and everything. But anyway, we're here to talk about Harley Quinn, a character I am older than, so that's exciting.
That's all right.
I know I've been on the record. I am not a particular fan of Harley Quinn.
That's okay.
I'm not a fan of the Joker in general. So, I feel like since she's kind of like an offshoot of him, it kind of translates to that. But I know you are the biggest Harley Quinn fan I probably know.
I love Harley Quinn.
So could you tell us a little bit about why you like her so much?
I guess in the realm of DC characters, at least, she is more relatable to me than Wonder Woman is. Like, Harley Quinn came from a, pretty crappy background, but she put herself through school. She, got a semi-decent job, but a super professional one at that. And then, fell for the wrong guy. And then, broke up and got back together. But her journey's not linear, which I think more people can relate to.
I hope dating an abusive clown isn't the part you relate to.
No, it's not. It's not. But I guess in the New 52 and some of Amanda Connor's, versions of her, she tries and, it doesn't always work out. It, sometimes are better than others, but, she does do good at times. And I guess that, she's trying is not more appealing, but Wonder Woman is a god. She could, she's perfect. Everything she does is perfect. And, it's just sort of an upward trajectory, whereas Harley kind of bounces around.
It's interesting that it seems like DC only has two female characters then. I'm a power girl guy. I generally like my superheroes a little bit more lawful good than Harley Quinn.
That's fair.
But again, Amanda Connor, her and Jimmy Palmiotti, who I know they've gotten married. I don't think they were married yet at the time, but that 12-issue series they did, they also made her relatable, and she has to juggle being a woman and then having these crazy superhero things happen to her.
Yeah, and she has interests. She does roller derby, and she,
Yeah. But yeah, so how were you originally introduced to the character? Because I know I've known her since her first appearance in Joker's Favor in Batman, the animated series, which ironically enough is probably my favorite episode of that series.
I think that was the first time I saw or heard of her too. To be honest, she kind of lapsed for me after that. I saw that and thought, oh, that's fun. I thought the "Don't you want to rev up your Harley" line was the funniest thing ever.
I remember I was the age when that first came out where I was like, oh, that's about sex. I get that. Okay. I understand. I was like, oh, okay, I got it. All right.
Yeah. And I think
Um,
he shoves her off a table or something. I thought
yeah,
that was, I don't think I understood it at the time, but I thought it was really funny.
yeah.
Yeah, no. And then I guess she was always kind of in like the periphery. I liked Gotham City Sirens a lot. I thought they were.
Gotham City Sirens was a surprisingly quality book.
Yeah, I like that. And then the one super popular one that's escaping me right now, but there was one of the other graphic novels of her that I really liked. And
so
then
she's in a lot of books now. She's got a new number one coming.
If I think of it, I'll shout it.
We'll talk about different versions of her.
But then Suicide Squad was really what piqued my interest more than anything.
I know that movie was your jam.
It was, because I wanted it to be. It's not a good movie. It's really not. There was a lot of terrible decisions that were made, like consistently throughout. But she was the best part of it, hands down.
I'm not sure if I would have cast Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn.
Really?
Also because, well, at the time, like, I never heard of her.
Okay.
Until then. I was having this conversation with someone else the other day. I think we were just talking about like what podcast episodes we were doing. Mm-hmm. I was just like, I don't know. Oh no, sorry. My one friend, B, who's going to be on the next episode.
Fun.
Loves the Birds of Prey movie.
I loved it.
Like, writes so much fanfic about it. I'll have you guys meet at some point.
Yeah, that sounds great.
But like, so I think we're talking about that. I was like, I don't know who I would cast as her, but like, that's not the point of this episode. Unless there's like a dream casting, you would be like, oh yeah.
See, Margot Robbie was my dream casting ever since I saw The Wolf of Wall Street. I was like, oh, that makes sense.
See, I haven't seen Wolf of Wall Street yet.
If you can listen to the F word 600 times in 2 hours, that's the movie for you. I've never finished it because they say the F word just so many times.
Oh, I work with the public. I'm immune to it.
Yeah. Very well.
But like, what about the Suicide Squad version of her in particular, like, drew your attention?
Her accent, for one. I like that she actually had one.
Did they see? I forget. Did she try to do like a Brooklyn accent with her?
She did a little bit of one, and I liked it. I didn't think it was that forced. It wasn't like overdone, which was good. I also think Margot Robbie is just a phenomenal actress. I really liked her. She's in a lot of stuff.
She's what, she's New Zealander?
Yeah, or Australia, maybe.
Or Australian. She's from somewhere down there.
That direction.
Yeah.
Far, far away.
Yeah. So pretty much the opposite side of the world from where.
Yes, exactly. As far away from us as you can
get. Because that's like was a big part of like the impetus for the character is she was created for her voice actress. Oh my god. I cannot remember her name, but because she did she
was like a jester, right?
Yeah, she had already basically kind of done a proto version of that character for another show.
Yeah.
And their idea was like, well, Joker was just gonna have a henchman. Like, oh, maybe we'll make it a henchwoman and
right.
So she was just sort of incidentally there. She didn't she eventually had an origin story in the show, but like she just kind of showed up one day. And I was like, oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Which is funny because she's like such a small part of it. Like the best joke in it is Joker's hounding this guy to like do a favor. Yeah. He's the guy who's like, I'll do anything for you if he didn't kill him like earlier in the episode.
Right.
So anyway, years later, he comes back. His whole favor is he just has to open this door for this cake because Harley Quinn can't push it. And he's like, she can't look at the size of that. She can't get that in her on her own, man. Like, that's so funny. So that's just kind of like she was just kind of created to be that joke, but she was so popular. She became like, for lack of a better term, a real character. Like she's in the comics and everything now.
I mean, she's like the fourth pillar now.
Yeah, really. I would say she's kind of sells better than Wonder Woman.
I think so. And the second Wonder Woman movie,
well,
was so bad.
Yeah,
I loved the first one. I loved it.
So yeah, I don't think we should get too deep into the weeds in Wonder Woman 84, but that's not a good movie. Fortunately, I already had HBO Max because I wanted to watch Harley Quinn's cartoon. And I still want to watch Doom Patrol, and I haven't gotten around to it, so I haven't canceled it yet. But we can get into this a little bit. What do you think about the new version of her in the cartoon. Because Kelly Cuoco doesn't even try to do an accent.
No, she doesn't at all.
Yeah.
She didn't. I thought it was cool. It was like a hint of one in those episodes with her family.
Mm-hmm.
They all have that.
Kind of like they're sort of falling back into it. I have a lot of family down south, and like you can kind of hear when people like are around the accent that kind of slip into it.
Yeah.
Versus like when they just hang out with us, like they don't slip into it at all.
Exactly.
Which is kind of cool. Like, I don't know. Like, yeah, I guess let's get into it. Like, we can get straight into the Harley Quinn show.
Sure. Whatever.
Shockingly good, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, I was very surprised. Yeah. I didn't think I was gonna like it half as much as I did.
It presented itself as like this really like just raunchy and just like edgy to be edgy, like Family Guy-esque type thing.
Yes.
Like, oh God, I hate that. And I was like, I don't like this version. I don't like this character. It's like, and I gotta buy a streaming service for it. But then for like 2 years or whatever, everyone was telling me it's really good. It's a lot better than you think it's gonna be.
Yeah.
And I remember watching the first episode, and it like starts with like they're cussing every 2 seconds and they're really violent. And I'm like, is that all this is going to be? The show, I think it front loads you with that. And then it actually is really good. Like,
there's good character development. I mean,
I'll be honest with you. The show's got my favorite versions of Poison Ivy and the Joker in it, I think.
Yeah. And just the voice, like the amount of the star power that they have doing the voices is incredible. Yeah. Every time Psycho was talking, I was just picturing Buster Bluth because Tony Hale is.
Wait, I didn't realize he was Tony Hale because he's also the Riddler, right?
I think so.
Yeah. No. Sorry, the Riddler's the Dean from Community.
Yes.
I can't remember his name. He's also Gizmo Duck in the new DuckTales.
Yes.
Which also, Riddler in it. So I guess a little bit of the premise of the show. It starts off when Harley's still Joker's sidekick / girlfriend / whatever their relationship is. First episode, she breaks away from that. So she's trying to establish herself as like a big time villain, kind of have like her own identity. Because everyone's still like, oh, you're just Joker's girlfriend. So she's trying to get into Legion of Doom. That'll mean she made it. So it deals more with like the criminals and stuff, even though it's like a Batman show. Batman is in it, but like kind of barely in it.
Which I thought was fun too. That like, but it's fun to see Gotham just all about Batman.
Yeah, and like Diedrich Bader plays Batman. Yeah, he plays Batman seriously, but like he is a comedian, and he is the Batman from Brave and the Bold, which is a much sillier show.
Right.
So I think he's got like he strikes the right tone for this show, which is very silly, but also like, I don't want to say like grounded, like it's still like, it has a lot of serious elements in it. I use serious loosely. It's more like dramatic type stuff rather than, I don't think anything in it serious.
This is true.
Like, Harley has to assemble like a crew. So obviously she's, best friends with Poison Ivy. And this is probably the best version of Poison Ivy I think I've seen.
Yeah, I liked her a lot in this.
She's very like dry and sarcastic, which is all my jam.
Yeah. And like very confident, and I loved that. That was fun to watch.
Yeah, it's fun watching them like be friends, like and supportive of each other, because at least in the beginning they don't start out with the whole like, hey, we're in love with one another thing.
It's true. There's a slow build to that.
Yeah, well, spoilers, I guess. Don't want to spoil too much, at least not of season 2, but I have a lot of things to say about season 2. But I know a couple people I talked to about the show haven't seen it yet. I'm like, you should watch it, because one thing I'll say about the show is it makes some decisions I was not expecting it to. They kill off some characters, and like the end of the first season completely changes the status quo in a way I thought it wouldn't, because I'm so used to shows like, especially like Batman and Superman and stuff, where it's like, hey, we need to keep the characters at this marketable like status quo, like this marketable level, so they don't really change. Like that's a big problem I have with superhero comics in general. But no, they're not afraid to do that in this. This is a crazy.
No, they were bold.
Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know. Well, let's talk about some of the characters in it. Like, what were some of your favorites?
Bane.
Bane is pretty funny. I like that they gave the Tom Hardy voice.
I do. Yeah, I thought he was great. Yeah, no, I liked him a lot. I liked Clayface a lot. He really made me laugh. They were all really funny.
I love that they played up the Clayface's like thespian roots.
Yes.
Which also makes sense, you know, since he's an actor, he can literally become any role he wants. Which is always fun. I like the addition of Dr. Psycho.
Yeah,
because he's a Wonder Woman villain.
Yeah,
and it's I like watching him in the show, but it's like I feel really icky saying like I like anything about him because he's like really like a disgusting human being. Like the show starts like he's trying to reclaim his reputation because he called Wonder Woman kind of an unforgivable slur.
Yeah, he got Me Too'd pretty bad.
Yeah, he got Me Too'd really bad, but like they go out of the way to show like he is terrible.
Yeah,
like,
he has no personality at all.
Yeah. He's rough. What about King Shark?
Oh, I loved him.
Yeah.
There's very little that I disliked about this show, clearly. I
like King Shark. It's nothing compared to his Secret Six comic book version. That Gail Simone run is really great. That's kind of what I want like Suicide Squad to be, is that.
Yeah. I think the new Suicide Squad, so the James Gunn one, should be.
We'll see. There's like 4 million characters in it.
I know.
That's going to kind of fall apart under its own weight, I think.
Probably.
We'll see. It might be a fun train wreck.
First, it can't be.
Is it supposed to have any continuity?
I don't know.
Like I can't understand if any of these movies do, because we were talking about Wonder Woman 84 before, and like, is that supposed to have continuity? Because it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't fit into anything. It's like they're just throwing things and seeing what sticks.
Like the apocalypse happened in that, and nobody mentions that in Justice League. Like, why isn't Batman like, I gotta go kill all of the stones in the world, grant wishes, instead of Superman? Like,
is the Snyder Cut going to address that? Or?
I guarantee you, the Snyder Cut's going to be terrible.
Really?
I hated the Justice League movie, and I hate everything Zack Snyder has done. Really? So it's already a movie I hate that's going to be a lot longer by a filmmaker who I think makes just horrible movies.
That's fair.
So I'm super not interested in watching it. But who knows? Maybe it'll be amazing. Whatever.
We can dream.
Anyway, let's talk about things we like. But yeah, so I like that the Harley Quinn show, like everyone, it's its own version of these characters. Definitely. Like they go out of the way to kind of like tweak everyone, and like you see a surprising amount of the DC universe. Like I wasn't expecting all the Justice League characters to be in it the way they are.
Oh, I know. Neither was I.
Yeah, that was fun. Like Aquaman shows up for an episode. I forget why. I remember. Oh, didn't they steal something from Atlantis?
I think so.
Because I know he shows up at like the Legion of Doom and they have like these fish tanks. Yes. And they like distract him by like smashing it. And all the fish are talking to him about how they're dying.
And then he's going around grabbing them all.
Yeah, he can't handle it, which is kind of funny. I love Lex Luthor in it, played by Juan Carlo Esposito, who's like the perfect bad guy in everything.
I was going to say he is the ultimate villain in every genre.
Yeah. But yes, let's talk a little bit about some of the overarching story of season 1. Harley Quinn kind of hits this mentor. Queen of Fables is her name, right?
Yeah, I didn't like her.
Yeah. Well, she's stuck in a book for most of the series. But like, I think she's it's interesting, not necessarily her specifically, but it's interesting that they did a female villain as a foil to Harley to show like Harley's a bad guy, but not necessarily like a bad guy, like a Wreck-It Ralph moral.
Yeah.
Because Queen of Fables just wants to kill everyone.
Pure evil.
Yeah, she's pure evil, where Harley's more like.
Yeah.
I don't want to say she's not evil.
Oh, she's bad.
She's like more chaotic neutral, I guess.
Yes.
Or like, she wouldn't have just killed an entire family reunion.
I didn't like that scene.
Yeah. there's a little bit of that in the show where it's like, that's where it's like, I don't know. Maybe it's good that they kind of front loaded it like with a lot of like the really offensive stuff.
Oh, definitely.
If that would turn you off like immediately, like you would stop.
And like it fit in with her character, and you needed to know just exactly how bad she was. And I mean, like it all made sense. But
yeah, for lack of a better term, it's like a don't meet your hero situation.
For sure.
But the other big bad guy season 1 is the Joker, obviously, because he's always going to be Harley's like number one bad guy, like even more than Batman. So I don't know. Season 1, like he ends up stealing like her idea with like this tower with his face on it, right?
And comes out of the ground.
Yeah, and I know he kidnaps Batman, and what is kind of a funny thing is he and Scarecrow were teaming up, and they have him like Batman in like some sort of contraption, and Scarecrow unmasks him. It's like, oh my god, it's Bruce Wayne. Like, and like has like kind of a problem. Joker's like, man, if I wanted to do that, like I love that the Joker does not care.
Yes,
Batman is.
It's over as soon as it happens. Like,
and he's like, oh, why did you do that? Now it's not fun. Like, that's not. If I wanted to know, I would have done it. Like,
right.
Because that's one thing I do like about the Jokers. They implied a lot. Well, I think it's been very overt in Joker War because he goes into Wayne's stuff and takes all of his things. But like that Joker knows it's Bruce Wayne, but like he doesn't care. That's not what he's about.
Right. That's not.
He's interested in Batman.
That's not the game.
Yeah. Which I think is an interesting dynamic for their character.
Yeah. Who voiced him? It's the guy that does K2SO.
Yeah, it's Alan Tudyk. He also does Clayface in the show,
yes.
Which is fun. But yeah, it's one of the more interesting versions of the Joker. He gets really interesting in season 2.
I liked him a lot. And
yeah, I don't want to. It's a thing I don't want to spoil. Maybe after we're done the commercial, we'll talk spoilers for season 2. Because I have a lot of things I want to say about season 2. I think season 2 is really good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot.
Not that season 1's bad, but it lays a lot of the groundwork that makes it much better.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about Poison Ivy's plant, played by JB Smoove? I forget his name. Is it like Jeff?
It's something ridiculous. Yeah.
It's just like a normal name where he's like basically Audrey 2 from Little Shop of Horrors, and he just is like her roommate.
Yeah. Oh, I thought he was what is a surprise to no one. I really liked that character too.
Yeah. Well, is there a character in it you did not like, or like did not like their interpretation of this character?
I don't think so.
All right, because I think I've liked just about everyone. Like most people aren't too different from what you know. Like the Penguin's the Penguin.
Yes.
I love that his nephew has a bar mitzvah, and they kind of invite the Legion of Doom to where it was like. Yeah. I love that the Legion of Doom is like inner office politics and stuff.
And like they fight over the chairs and stuff.
Yeah, like that to me, it's like kind of like The Office a little bit. Yeah, I love when they had glimpses there, because like you see the Joker and those guys in like the break room just drinking coffee and just trying to like they like talk about like different evil schemes and like how you allocate resources to one or the other, which is I know like a bit of friction. Like Harley Quinn like kind of shows him up a little bit at one of those. And they're like, this just isn't done, the office politics.
I really liked Cy a lot in this.
Cyborg Man.
That was exactly George Costanza's voice was how I pictured him whenever I would
in the comics. Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah.
He's got some kind of horrible body horror stuff later in the series, which makes me very uncomfortable.
Yeah, very cringy.
It turns out he's kind of a half transformer. Like, but he still got person. It's awful.
It's a lot.
In a good way, like not like, oh my god, this ruins this for me, but it's like the good kind of like cringe,
Definitely.
I mean, all right, so let's talk about the MVP of this series, and probably the MVP of the last 5 years of Batman, Kite Man.
Yes!
I'm so glad they used him, and I'm so glad they brought in his "Hell yeah" catchphrase from the comics.
Oh my god! Wait.
From the Tom King run on Batman.
I thought it could have been a disaster when he first made his appearance, but I was very, very pleasant.
I mean, everyone thinks he's a disaster. How does he end up? Because he gets in a relationship with Poison Ivy. How did that even start? Because I know he like asked her out, and she's like, "Oh God, Kite Man, no."
I think it was like 3 or I don't know if he asked her out 3 or 4 times, but eventually, yeah. I don't know if she just said yes. I was like, all right, I guess.
She caves, but then you see like, oh, she kind of likes him, and like he's
Oh
kind of
yeah.
like goofy and earnest in like a way that like she kind of like needs, you know?
For her. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it makes sense. And it's just like, oh, that's kind of just what a random character to like.
Oh yeah. They hang out and like make chili and
I love
sweatpants, and I love that.
I love that like his arch enemy like is another really obscure Batman villain with the Condiment King. Oh god, the episode where they're like button heads is great. Again, it's just in spoiler territory. It's a season 2 thing. But like it's just so funny. Like I don't know. I've always felt like I never want to take my Batman stuff too seriously because at the end of the day, it's a guy that dresses up like a bat and punches like criminals in the face.
Yeah.
It's kind of inherently goofy, and this plays with a lot of those elements, especially in DC. DC is a really kind of wacky, goofy comic book world, which is why I like it.
Yeah. Too seriously.
Yeah. Like I'm sure season 3 Harley Quinn is going to go into space and become a Green Lantern for a minute or something, and like that's fine. I'd be down.
I can get behind that for sure.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be really cool. Actually, now I want a whole arc where they're in space. I wonder if they might bring Power Girl in, because I know that they kind of team her up with them up together a bunch in the comics. Like they gave Harley Quinn like her own like superhero design.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Which I guess I'm not the wildest about, but I guess we can talk a little bit about like what's your favorite era or incarnation of Harley? I think if I have to pick, I think I'd pick Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not wild. Yeah, see, I'm not wild about the current comic book version. They kind of made her like Deadpool.
Yeah.
Which is another thing I was afraid the show was going to be.
I liked New 52 Harley a lot.
I hated her design. It was so off-putting to me.
You didn't like it?
No, she's just like, for lack of a better term, like slutty looking. I don't know. The red and blue doesn't gel as well as red and black.
No, it doesn't.
Like Rebirth and like once they got past New 52, I think she's had some much better designs.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you can like the characterization from them. I'm just thinking visually, like it didn't.
Oh yeah, no. I don't think there was ever a Harley that I really didn't like. Yeah, like anytime Amanda Connor is doing Harley, I really like that.
I'm such a fan of Amanda Connor.
Yeah, I love her. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, she's great. I got to meet her 2010 New York Comic Con. It was before she was working on Harley actually, or maybe she was just about to start.
Yeah.
I don't think she had done Harley. Like her big DC thing was she'd done a lot of Power Girl at that point.
Okay.
So that's like kind of what I knew her for. Then that was when before Watchmen was happening, and she did the Silk Spectre series. I'm just thinking what books I brought to get signed.
Oh, awesome.
She did the cover for like the anime, like that anime comic book girls series, where they kind of like animeified.
Yeah.
There's.
Yeah.
I have the first issue where she did Wonder Woman on the cover, which was pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have like other than her, and I guess Paul Dini, since he like did a lot or Bruce Timm and stuff with the show.
Yeah.
I can't think of like major like defining voices creatively for her.
Yeah. I love what Margot Robbie's done in live action movies.
But I also don't know how much of that's like director or her or writer. Yeah, that's a little bit more
collaborative.
Yeah, collaborative. I mean, it's definitely a choice what they've done with those characters.
Yeah.
I think I know how you feel about that version of the Joker from Suicide Squad, but how do you feel about that version of the Joker from the Suicide Squad?
I think they took a wonderful opportunity and squandered it. I made that giant beat of the Joker, the Jared Leto Joker, after the preview came out. I liked that really dark and gritty and, kind of disturbing take on all the characters, and I found it very misleading when they were swinging and jumping to Bohemian Rhapsody in the next preview.
Yeah, it was sort of like they were trying to course correct to be more like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Exactly. I really like the idea of that Joker that, he just loved crime. There was really no other reason that they gave, at least, for him being the way he was. He just liked chaos and, you know, carnage and all that stuff. And I was into that.
Yeah.
And then
I'm
I
so
wanted
sorry.
to love that movie so bad.
Yeah. I mean, you can enjoy it just as long as you recognize that it's not great. Because there's a lot of bad movies I like, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to defend them to you.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Suicide Squad. Yeah.
Which we will definitely do an episode on bad movies that we love, because I have a real soft spot for like kind of crappy movies.
Yeah.
But I was super not down for that version of the Joker.
That's fair.
Just as soon as I saw him, I was like, oh God. I mean, hey, they made a choice.
They did. They did a lot.
But after Batman v Superman and the 1-2 punch of like that, and then Suicide Squad, because they came out the same year, it was just like, I don't want to ever revisit this world. Because it's like, this is the version of the Joker we're going to get. This is the version of Lex Luthor we're going to get. They're like the two best villains. And it's like, they already screwed up the heroes. And it's just like, oh, man. And then Batman was pretty okay.
I loved the first one.
I really, really enjoyed it until the end.
You didn't like the end?
I remember I turned to the person to it, because the whole point, like, Wonder Woman thinks, the whole movie, she thinks the world's like black and white. If she just beats like Ares, there will be no more war. It won't be a thing. And then like she kind of kills the dude she thinks is Ares, and like nothing happens. I was like, oh my God. I turned to whoever I was sitting next to. I was like, if the bad guy in this movie is just the evil that lies in the hearts of man, this is brilliant. And then no, Ares shows up and they punch each other for 20 minutes. And it's just like,
it's the physical manifestation of a god.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, never mind. It just ends like every single one of these movies. And I was just like,
that would have been cool. I would have been down for that.
Yeah, but like, because she's doing this, like, Steve Trevor could still have been doing his sacrifice, but because she had to grow as a character, she put herself in a position where she was not able to save him.
Yeah.
And like has to deal with that. And like, you know, hey, because a lot of their like little band of brothers or whatever, like did good things and did bad things. And it's kind of like, hey, everyone's got good and bad in them. It's not just
the gray. Yeah.
Oh, I really love that. Like, but like that was the first one of these movies where I kind of felt something. Like when she's like, they're like, no one can go across no man's land. We can't go and help them. She's like, I'm no man, and kind of goes and does the hero thing. I was like, my heart like started beating. I was like, oh,
they did it right.
I feel alive in a superhero movie. What is this? Like
that one was more formulaic. It had the established, this is what makes a good superhero movie. And they follow it to a T, and that's why it worked.
But like, if it was a Marvel movie, I'd be like, oh, it was just middle of the road. But because it was on the heels of Suicide Squad and these other like
other disasters,
really miserable, kind of bloated and crappy movies, I was like, oh, my hero's a hero and likable.
Yeah,
you aren't just miserable.
Yeah, and she had a gang around her. I liked their whole little
I was
little
like,
group.
That's part of the reason Wonder Woman 84 is so disappointing. I have yet to meet someone who like legitimately liked it.
Yeah, I haven't. Most people I know won't even watch it at this point. They've just heard such bad things.
I mean, I'll say if you already have HBO Max, it's worth watching once. Don't buy HBO Max just to watch it, because it's got good things in it. Someone compared it to Spider-Man, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies.
I love those movies.
And I was like, I can kind of see it, especially Spider-Man 3, which got a really weird mismatch of tones and like kind of corny in like a little bit of the wrong way.
Yeah, I can see that. But
I was like, I kind of get Spider-Man 3. I mean, I like Spider-Man 3 more.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and I think the nostalgia helps those movies.
I liked Spider-Man 3 at the time. Again, I kind of like cheesy bad movies. But I'm not going to tell you it's a good movie. That's not what I'm I'm telling you. It's a bad movie. But like, I found it entertaining. Like, I love when he's dancing around and it's really, really stupid. But I love it because it's so stupid.
Yeah.
And like fun. I don't know.
Yeah, you can laugh at it.
It's a really, really bad version of Venom. If you were one of those hardcore Venom guys, which I guess I was when I was like 16, but like I've since grown up, and those kinds of like ultra edgy characters don't do anything for me anymore.
Yeah.
I don't really care. Man, we're way off topic.
It happens, I feel like.
I hope that's one of the reasons people listen to the show. We do it every episode. Well, you know how it is. Start chatting with people you want to chat with, and one thing leads to another, as you can tell. Because we talked about Wonder Woman 84 a surprising amount.
I just finished watching it. I couldn't watch it all at once. I watched it with my dad. We had to watch it in 2 separate sittings because
it's so long.
It's ungodly long. It did not need to be that long. They could have cut a solid 45 out of the movie easily.
The like Olympics in the beginning is 11 minutes long and has no point.
It doesn't.
You don't need it. You have 2 openings for that movie. You had the Olympics, then you had the mall scene. And you could have just done the mall scene. That's at least a little bit more fun. Yeah,
and I mean, they don't need the world building that they did in the first one.
Yeah.
We all know it exists, and it's it's great.
But why? Also, another question I had is, why does it take place in the 80s? The 80s seem to inform nothing of the movie.
I'm so sick of the 80s as a time frame. My goodness.
They didn't even use the music from it.
No, they didn't.
What's the point?
Yes. That was the best part.
They could have set that exact story now. We still have greedy oil people.
All right, it wouldn't have changed that much.
Yeah, that movie baffles me, and not in a good way. Where baffles me. Why did you do that way?
Yeah, I had a lot of questions about the character choices they made for Wonder Woman. I didn't like it.
Yeah, I don't like the Steve Trevor possessing a body guy thing. That's such a weird thing. It has all kinds of weird moral implications because a
lot, right?
Not just does Wonder Woman rape that guy?
I said the same thing.
And then they're like, oh, we're just gonna go on this extremely dangerous adventure, and this guy can just get murdered, or we just robbed the Smithsonian, but this guy's face is on the camera now.
Right.
It's really weird. They could have just had Steve Rogers just be back. Not Steve Rogers. Oh my God, Steve Trevor just be back.
Yeah.
That's
they sort of.
Yeah, it's it's so weird and uncomfortable.
Yeah, I really didn't.
That whole movie was just stuff like that.
At the end, it's not even her sacrifice at the end. Dislike that movie a lot.
I also really don't like that Wonder Woman's defined by her relationship to a man in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The movie.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we'll just talk about Wonder Woman for another hour. We'll just not get back to Harley Quinn.
Got a lot of.
I did see that they announced season 3 is coming, which is exciting.
Yeah, that'll be great.
I'm very curious to see how it's going. But tell you what, let's take a commercial break. When we come back, we'll talk full spoilers, season 2 and beyond on this. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Created by husband and wife team Kendall and Kayla, Star Savior Bunny combines Sailor Moon-esque superheroics with the challenges of early adulthood. Read for free at tapis.io and check out their Instagram at StarSaviorBunny for new updates and projects. Thank you for listening to our podcast, but have you checked out our store yet? We sell all kinds of nerdy products from comics and graphic novels to retro video games, model kits, toys, and statues, and more. Visit us at levelupentertainment.com, and as a special exploratory promotion, the first 20 people to use the code FRIENDSCAST at checkout will receive 10% off their first purchase. If this is successful, we will do more podcast-exclusive promotions in the future. That's levelupentertainment.com and code FRIENDSCAST. FRIENDSCAST.
This message is for Ileana and Miguel. Hey, this is Gabriel Iglesias.
It's Mark Hamill here.
What's up, y'all? This is me, DMC, the KING.
Martha Sedan, the Zombie King.
I'm Paul Felder, UFC fighter.
WWE superstar Sonya Deville.
What's up, guys? This is Harry Mack.
Hi, I'm Julia Leewald.
And I'm Eric Leewald.
Hey, this is Matt Cardona from the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast.
Yakko Warner here, described mysteriously as an old man from Michigan. And you are watching Toy Quest 101, baby.
And you're watching Toy Quest 101.
You're watching Toy Quest 101. 101.
And you're watching Toy Quest 101.
Hey guys, it's Ileana and Miguel here from Toy Quest 101.
Make sure to check us out for toy reviews, statue unboxings, and to see what celebrity guests might pop up to help us inspire kids with autism and special needs.
You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok.
And make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Toy Quest 101.
Oh, and remember, the Force will be with you always.
Bye now.
All right, and we're back. All right, so let's talk spoilers now for the Harley Quinn cartoon. Were you expecting them to kind of adapt No Man's Land at the end of season 1?
I wasn't pleasantly.
That was a huge surprise that like the Justice League is completely gone.
Yeah.
They're trapped in a book.
Yeah.
But Joker basically wins. Like he's got Batman kidnapped.
Yeah.
And, like seemingly they're both dead because the tower is in collapses.
Yeah.
Cities in chaos. Like again, it becomes No Man's Land. Like Harley's like, hey, it's chaos. This is all I wanted.
Yeah.
But then while she's not doing anything, because I love that Harley that Poison Ivy's like, here's your chance to like do something and like make your mark. But because she didn't in the power vacuum, like the other Batman villains just kind of carved up the city.
Yeah.
So I like that they each have their own like different themed districts. Which is pretty funny, which is pretty fun. Oh man, we didn't even talk about Robin in the first season. This is the first time I've liked Damian Wayne, I think.
So good.
I love that he's trying to be Harley Quinn's nemesis.
Yes.
And she's like, you're a kid, leave me alone.
You're a child.
He's like out on like the news and stuff, just playing things up. And she's like, this is so creepy. You're a little kid. I'm not beating you up.
This isn't happening.
But I love when Batman sits him down and has the talk with him. It's like, I didn't have my first villain until I was 24 or whatever. It's the whole conversation is basically alluding to like the sex talk.
Oh yeah.
And I thought that was pretty funny.
Just good rating for sure.
But yeah, so No Man's Land happens, and that was, like I said, they play with the status quo. Like everything they set up in the first season with the Legion of Doom and like how the DC universe works is gone. And like because the Justice League is gone, like nobody's around to really like fix it. And the Justice League minus Batman, because Batman's like is basically kind of like done the Bane like broken back thing. So he's not, in action.
Right.
I don't know. I thought that was really cool.
Mm-hmm. I like to annex Gotham City to be its own.
Yeah.
And the United States, and everyone there is to fend for themselves completely.
I mean, that's what happened in No Man's Land, except it was dumber that Superman didn't show up and just fix everything.
Yeah.
Because Batman was basically like, this is my city. We'll fix it our way. I'm like, everyone's dying, right? There's no power or water.
Good.
Yeah. Which also, like, that's really bad of Batman. I can't imagine, but that to me feels out of character. Which is like, or if they're at least like, as Bruce Wayne, like fund all this stuff and fix it.
Right. Do something.
I don't know. Oh, forget about it. But like, yeah, it's cool. So like who are the main bad guys that split up? Riddler, Bane, Two-Face, Penguin, and Mr. Freeze, right? Because I know Mr. Freeze's part is like walled off by like a wall of ice.
Yeah.
The Riddler's is like the college.
Yes.
Over. I think Penguin's is just kind of like relatively normal, right? Like
it doesn't change that much, yeah.
Yeah. I know Bane, everyone's got like Bane masks and stuff.
Yes.
Two-Face's section we don't see too much of because he doesn't really factor in too much till like the end of that series, right? Yeah.
Gordon and all that.
But the big thing I want to talk about in season 2 that's spoilers is I hesitate to use this word, but like the redemption of the Joker.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it a redemption. So he's presumed dead. No one's seen him as this happens. There's a bartender that looks just like him, so Harley Quinn freaks out. But so eventually it's revealed that he is the Joker and lost his memory.
Yeah.
And has just been living like as a normal
life.
Yeah, he's just been a normal dude. He's like dating a woman who's got 2 kids.
He loves them like they're his own.
Yeah, and it's the whole thing is like, but like, Harley's like, hey, where's the ethical thing? Like, do we tell him that he's the Joker, or like, do we leave him alone? Like, but like, because he might snap at any point. But like, they're also, do we trust that this isn't part of some weird game?
Like this act, yeah.
Yeah, like, eventually find out like it's for real, I forget why, because I remember they have to push him back in the vat of acid and I have to make him the Joker again.
To get the
because he remembers where something is that's going to like destroy the city, like as the Joker, right? Because I remember they have to team up.
Or was it he knew where he had the Book of Fables?
He had the book with the Justice League in it because Darkseid shows up and they're like, we can't handle this. We need the Justice League. So yeah, that's right. That's why they had to get the Joker back. And it was like really sad. But I love that, like, because as the Joker, he like hates that life that he lived. But then he kind of really realizes like he's in love with that woman.
Oh yeah, he's like, what have I been missing out on all this time? Like what?
Yeah, like he really grows and like kind of like gives Harley Quinn the closure she needs. Yeah. And like
development. It's
and like by that point, like, all right, so Poison Ivy's getting married to Kite Man, but like it's become very obvious like Harley's they're kind of in love with each other. And Joker gives her the advice, it's like, listen, fuck what you're supposed to do. Be with who you want.
Exactly.
Like, and it's just like, oh my God. She's like, I gotta go break up this wedding, and then that happens. But I love that the end is like the two of them get together and they're literally like riding off into the sunset.
Literal. Yeah.
So I'm stoked for that.
Yeah, that'll be good.
And as someone who's consumed a lot of gay media now and is much more involved in that community, I think they did a really natural progression of them realizing their feelings for one another.
Yeah.
Because, it happens late in life. Like they obviously both had been dating men before then. And like Ivy's relationship with Kite Man is good.
Oh, yeah.
It's not Harley and Joker where it's extremely abusive and horrible.
Exactly. And I think she says that too. Like, there is nothing wrong with this relationship. It's just not the one for me.
It's just, and Kite Man's kind of like not super exciting. Like he's kind of boring. Like she's the really like exciting part of it.
Yeah.
Everyone kind of gets to use Kite Man to like get to her. Like,
right.
Like his parents were like, oh yeah. Because I think also their kids would potentially have powers because she's got who doesn't. It's like, oh yeah, that's a weird eugenics-y kind of thing that to bring up.
Right.
I don't know. But yeah, that's one of the reasons it's become like one of my favorite versions of the Joker. I mean, the Mark Hamill one is classic. You can't beat it. But like, what an interesting direction to take that character.
Yeah.
In a way I wasn't expecting. I assumed he would just always be like Harley's big nemesis, like the chip on his shoulder. Like basically now he never has to show back up.
Right. He had a very organic end.
Yeah. And if he does, because he's still going to be the Joker, but he's going to go home and be like with this woman.
Oh yeah, and like read kids a bedtime story. Yeah.
Yeah, and like live this like kind of mundane life because he's like, I really miss like watching Great British Bake Off or whatever. I don't know. It was just really fun. Also, it was a really funny version of Darkseid, where he's basically classic Darkseid, but he plays with the Darkseid is phrase.
Yeah.
Because I guess we should explain. Dr. Psycho betrays them in a grab for power and basically makes a deal with him.
That was a big shock to me.
I mean, shouldn't have been. He was a huge asshole.
I know he sucked, but still, I didn't see it going in that direction. I still thought Joker was going to come out and be the bad guy.
I'm glad it was a good version of expectations. Like the characters in the show are surprisingly strong.
Yeah,
like way more than I think they normally are. I liked that Batgirl kind of became Batgirl on her own.
I loved that
during the whole No Man's Land part.
Yeah,
I like that she's the only one that kind of sees Harley Quinn as like a potential hero.
Yeah,
which is exciting. I love that they did the Batgirl of Burnside costume. That one's so much fun.
Yeah.
Oh my god! So season 2, you get to meet Catwoman. Yes. And this is one of my favorite versions of Catwoman. I think she's supposed to be a mix of Eartha Kitt and the Darwyn Cooke era, because she's got that costume, which is the best Catwoman costume. Yeah. But like, she's a person of color. She's not making like too many cat puns, but like I like that she's like the cool one of the group. Yeah. And I love that Poison Ivy gets real flustered and like intimidated around her. Yeah, especially because she's normally so cool and in control, especially compared to Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
They have a real fun dynamic in the show.
They do. I like when they're all at brunch together.
Yeah, I love them when they have a bachelorette party in Themyscira.
That's a fun little side mission too. I liked that. they saved that from capitalism.
Yeah, exactly. Again, because Wonder Woman wasn't around because she was trapped in a fantasy with the other Justice League members. And I love that when they come out of the book, they have PTSD from like fairy tales and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. So I'd be excited to see them, especially because like Harley and Ivy kind of like were literally riding off in the sunset. I'd be interested if they did kind of like a Green Arrow, Green Lantern kind of like road trip thing.
Yeah.
That'd be cool to see like other DC characters. Like, why hasn't Detective Chimp shown up? It seems perfect.
Yeah.
You know, he's one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
In general, but I guess they kind of gave Jim Gordon like the cop on the edge thing, which is what I would want them to give Detective Chimp.
Yeah, they didn't.
They did not. He was not treated too fairly in the show. They're playing
version of
those like, yeah, cop on the edge stereotype.
Yeah.
Jays. Which is
I love that he was living with his
yes, I don't want to say it was fun, but it's at least different.
Yeah, for sure.
And I like that Barbara's still his daughter, and she's like, you gotta get your shit together.
Yeah, just stop drinking. Yeah.
Yeah, like because he's like he's living in her dorm room with her. Yeah, you know.
Yes.
Very Arrested Development season 4.
Yes, I was just about to say.
I'm surprised she didn't also have roommates, and he was trying to like do some sort of voting them out thing.
Yes.
Which I love when they kidnap the Riddler, like they beat the Riddler. I love that they don't kill everybody because they basically make him like a hamster wheel, like to power like their city. Right. And he gets really like toned and buff because of it over the course of the show.
Yes.
Yeah, like, but I love that he's like kind of like conniving and doing stuff in the background.
Always.
Yeah, because the Riddler is fun like that when you play with him right. My favorite year of the Riddler is when like he was kind of being a private detective after he solved who Batman was, but then Batman confronted him about it and was like, "What's the value of a riddle that everyone knows the answer to?" So that's why he never told anybody.
Yeah,
but they play with that in Gotham City Sirens, I think, because it's because they know Catwoman knows. Because I remember they like basically tried to get her to tell them who Batman is. It's kind of like a test of like their loyalty to one another. Which the Gotham City Sirens book is good. I just ordered them back for the store.
Oh, awesome.
So they should be back in soon, probably next week. So if anyone said, sounds like that might be interesting. It's Catwoman, Batman, or Catwoman, Harley Quinn, and Poison Ivy. Like they're the core characters in it. So it's basically, them trying to live their best villainy life. Well, it's more Catwoman trying to keep them from going off the rails because she was with Batman at the time.
It's a good time, for sure.
Yeah. It was one of the times she's with her because it goes off and on. And now they have a whole book where they're together all the time. Oy. What do you think about some of what they've been doing with Harley with the comics lately?
I am embarrassingly behind on my comic reading. It's
because I know you get every Harley Quinn comic book.
Harley. I'm stockpiling them, and then one day I'm going to sit down and do nothing.
Well, we're going to have another quarantine again, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at this point. That'd be a good opportunity for that. It's really funny. I moved in October, and I just got all my comics moved out of my house last week.
Dude, it happens. You don't have to tell me. I've got like 20 plus long boxes of comics, and that's after downsizing.
Yeah.
And then I just keep buying more because I'm a crazy person. I don't buy a lot of books anymore. All right, so comic books have to meet 2 criteria for me to buy them. I need to really want to know what happens next.
Yeah.
And I have to want to own it forever.
That's solid.
Yeah. So
that makes total sense.
I only get like a handful of titles. And at the time, like right now, like there's books I'm interested in, but it's like,
yeah,
I'll wait for the trade or something if I really want to, or if I want to get a new book, I got to get rid of another one. Like I might drop Spider-Man soon.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I'm really burned out on The Last Remains. It's just every week there's like another $6+ book. And I'm like, I'm done. And it's not even that great.
Yeah. Right.
But I don't know. Harley's got a new book coming out. I forget who's on it. I should know. I wanted to read the Future State issue
Mm-hmm.
because that just came out last week as of this recording, but we sold out before I could even get a chance to look at it. So I wanted to do that. I'm like, oh, I can talk a little bit about some current thing with Harley Quinn, and I didn't get the opportunity to. Oh well. I was trying to be a good comic book store guy, but if you get a chance to read it, I guess, you know, buy it. I just wish I could sell it to you, but I can't get them back in. Future State's been kind of a mess.
Yeah.
To get in stores, so I'm sorry if you're listening, and you can't get it. We're trying, but DC doesn't print them because they keep changing their distributor. Anyway, what would you want to see in season 3?
Huh.
Like I said, I kind of want to see some wider DC Universe stuff. I'd love to see something either with Power Girl or with some sort of space thing. And I want to see Detective Chimp.
That would be good. I would like to see her in Coney Island. That was, I thought, peak Harley. I liked her when she was in Coney Island a lot.
They might be leaving Gotham City. They might go there. That might be cool.
Yeah, I mean, outer space would be.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to be there the whole season, but I think like an episode or two would be fun.
Yeah, I really liked when she was in Coney Island, and I think I said before when she was, you know, going to roller derby and she had her side gig working, you know, back as Harley and Quinzel as a psychiatrist. I loved all of that. She was doing it all.
Yeah. I like when they pull out psychology to kind of help solve problems, which they do in the show too.
Yeah, she has her own little podcast.
Yeah.
Harley.
No, it's exciting stuff. Yeah, I'm not sure. I want to see more of the characters.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the way it ends. Like, I'm cool with just kind of like Harley and Ivy, being like our new core, and then maybe getting like some new recurring characters.
Yeah.
It just depends where they want to take it. As of this recording, I haven't seen any trailers or any news on it other than it's happening. But I would be. Yeah, I think something cool. I think they need to change locations.
Yeah, I think so. It's time.
Like, even though Gotham's very different in the second season, visually they're all very different from each other, like all the different like districts. I'm cool with moving on.
Yeah.
You know, like I like that it's a quote unquote Batman show with no Batman. Even if we did get one episode that was just about him.
Yeah. That was fun.
I like that they kind of lampshade it with like dudes watching on the couch, like complaining that there's no Batman in it. Release the Snyder Cut shirt. Yeah.
Well, the other one was like The Last Jedi is not canon or something.
Was it? I don't remember. I remember he had to release the Snyder Cut shirt. This was before they were decided to release it. Which when is that coming out?
I think May on HBO Max.
Yeah, we'll see.
Are they going with a 4-hour thing, or
it's gonna be bloated and annoying? I'm gonna be very annoyed watching it. I can tell you that now.
Yeah, I wanted to like Justice League, but that was one you couldn't like.
Yeah, I wanted like Batman v Superman. I was kind of having fun making fun of it as it went because it's really stupid, but then it just kept going and going and going, and I'm like, oh my god, just end. Like, none of this made any sense. And then people are like, oh, watch the longer version. It has scenes that are plot relevant and like give characters motivation. I'm like, that is a failing of that movie. I was like, I'm not watching this anymore, giving this movie any more of my time than I already got. Like, remember when movies were 90 minutes and at a beginning, middle, and end? Like, I miss that. I don't even get that in Star Wars anymore.
No. And Patty Jenkins is directing the new movie, right?
Is she? I don't know.
My confidence isn't as high after.
I think she's better director. She just directed the first movie. She did not write it. She and Jeff Johns wrote the second movie. And I don't think that worked out well.
Yeah. Wasn't as cohesive.
Yeah. They had some good ideas in it, but like they're just buried by all this other stuff.
Too much. They could have.
Like they should have done either Maxwell Lord or Cheetah.
Yes.
They should have done both. Or you could set up Cheetah's like human persona for a sequel, you know, and that might make like the portrayal like all the more impactful rather than just I'm a bad guy now, and for some reason now I'm a cat at the end.
I thought Kristen Wiig was an interesting choice as well.
It was too. I don't think that. I think in a different movie, I think she would have done a better job. I think I got Ghostbusters flashbacks where they're like playing up how crazy and goofy I am. I think they played her like a little bit more realistic because Kristen Wiig is actually a pretty good actress.
Oh, I love her. It wasn't her as the character choice. It was the writing and
it was the writing. She was doing the best she could with what she had. You can tell that this is the way they wanted the character to go. Was just
yeah. Didn't love the costumes on her either.
Oh, she looked bad.
Hard to she just looked bad. Like she didn't look the way I think they wanted her to look. And I know the 80s were a different time, but
I mean, even like her cheetah like monster form.
Oh my God.
Reminded me of Cats in a bad way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it was also that fight scene was bad. It was also really dark and you couldn't tell what's happening. It was just like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was not we're not fans of that movie, apparently. The only person I know who has mildly liked it was just like, I just liked it because it had Wonder Woman. I like watching Wonder Woman. Like, all right.
And usually I feel like that's me. Like, it's very rare that I dislike any movie.
You're one of the more positive people I know.
And I hated this movie, like, so much.
I didn't hate it. I was mostly extremely bored. I was playing my Switch. I wound up playing my Switch most of the movie because it was Christmas Day and I got some games. I was like, you know. But, you know.
I think I paid too much. Like I was asking too many questions and then I was frustrated that they weren't being answered because things just didn't make sense.
That's how I watch these movies usually.
Yeah.
I think because I was at home, like, so part of our Christmas routine is like my mom's impossible to shop for. Everything she likes, she gets from work for free because she also works for the library. But it's like, so what we do is like, hey, at least we'll go out. We'll get some eat. We'll go to the movies. There's usually some Hugh Jackman movie that comes out Christmas Day, so she wants to go see that. But I was like, well, we can watch Wonder Woman. You know, she liked the first one, so we're watching it. Like, oh, we were all just so bored and just doing other things for most of it.
Yeah, wasn't their best.
Yeah,
to say the least.
Was it their worst?
I think it could have been.
It's a contender.
It's down there.
It didn't make me nearly as mad as Justice League or Batman v Superman.
It made me really mad, and I don't know if it's because I'm a woman, but it.
Oh, yeah, I can't speak to that.
Yeah.
I just can speak as a movie guy because at least like I appreciated some of the corny things in it. The worst thing a movie can really be is be boring, and it was.
Yeah.
But like I didn't feel anything like negative in the moment. Like a lot of the things I really don't like about it was like kind of like in hindsight. Yeah. I was just so unengaged. Like normally I think about that stuff like while watching it like you were.
And I think I love the first one so much. And I have another gigantic beat of Wonder Woman. Like I really love Wonder Woman as a character.
Oh you have the comic book or like the classic style comic book one, right? Yeah.
And
that one's really good.
I love that one.
Oh, I guess we should tell people what's your Instagram handle?
It is Beads by Olive because Beads by Olivia was taken.
Oh, we gotta take them down then. But yeah, you can see these incredible beat art things on our website, levelupentertainment.com. We did a spotlight on you for doing that stuff. And you've been to Free Comic Book Day. We usually have you come out and display stuff. Obviously, that didn't happen this past year.
Super disappointing.
I know, for a lot of reasons.
Yeah. Pandemic.
Yeah, but August 14th is the slated day for this year, 2021.
Oh, awesome.
So I don't want to get too deep into planning it yet, just because God forbid something else happens. Right. But obviously you're more than welcome to be. I would love to have you there.
I would love to come back.
Yeah. And obviously we'd love to have all of you listening to us come back. Free Comic Book Day, missing that this past year was one of the more significant bummers of 2020. At least personally, like I know a lot of people had it a lot worse. Although I think you and I both have had family members catch COVID, but nobody seriously got injured, right?
Fortunately.
Yeah, my brother, I'm not going to put anyone out on blast, but yeah, my brother caught it earlier in the year. But that's his fault. He went to a bar when we knew how it worked. So I was super mad. I didn't suppose our parents do it, but no one else got sick in my family, so.
Thank goodness.
That's
scary
stuff. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sick all the time anyway, but like you can tell when it's like something else. Anyway, get off that topic a little bit. But yeah, Free Comic Book Day, we were in the middle of planning it and then like stuff started shutting down. So we're kind of getting on the fence. Like, I think we should cancel it. Like, I don't think people are going to come out and stuff. And then like the governor, the next day the governor came in and just shut everything down. So
yeah,
we're kind of feeling that was happening. So we're like, we should probably preemptively do this. Which is a bummer, but hey, you got to adapt or die, but we started doing more things online.
Yeah.
Not to give away too much of what we do, but like one of our better years in a while, business wise.
That's great.
This was our best holiday season in like 3 or 4 years.
That's awesome.
We were only down like 3% versus last year, considering we were closed for like a quarter of the year.
That's awesome.
That's pretty amazing. We're doing a lot more of our stuff transitioned online, obviously, but like we're still continuing to have that option available for our weekly poll customers. Like, hey, if you don't want to come out to the store, we'll send you and email you your invoice, your comics. You can pay them there, and then we'll mail them to you.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah. Well, you do the older school thing where it's just like you don't get a ton of books, so we just do it to you give it to you once a month.
Thanks.
People that get a bunch every week.
Yeah.
And it's just like, hey, I want my books every week.
Yeah.
But that's an option for people.
Mm-hmm.
We had to revamp the online store a little bit. Now we're just going to talk about the store for a while. Yeah. I said you haven't been there in forever.
I know.
It's fine. It's fine. If you don't have to come out, I'd rather you not come out.
Yeah. It's just so easy to do it online. And
yeah. Thank you. I wasn't fishing for stuff, but it's going to sound like we're totally trying to like record a commercial for the store right now. Which I guess from a certain point of view, the whole podcast is a commercial for one, but I've been very, I've been very upfront with my reasons for doing the podcast, where it's just like, I want to talk to people and I want to talk about these things that we talk about. So as soon as it stops being fun, I'll stop doing it. But I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon. Cause like, there's still tons of people that like, it took you like 30 plus episodes to get on the show.
I'm so sorry.
You're one of the people I wanted to get on. Like, oh, I can talk to Olivia about Harley Quinn. It'll be fun.
Various crises after crises.
Dude, yeah, don't worry about it. Oh, the schedule changes behind the scenes all the time. Fortunately, a lot of times, this isn't like a time sensitive thing. I can kind of kick the can on certain episodes. So we can deal with them later. Probably would have been smarter to time this when like season 2 of Harley Quinn came out, so we can ride that algorithm a little bit. But
yeah, true. That's all right.
I'm sure when season 3 comes around, we'll watch it. We'll probably come back and talk about it. I have a couple other friends who couldn't make it on this episode.
Yeah.
Who are also big Harley fans, and I'm sure would love to talk about it. It kind of sounds a little bit like I might be doing wrap up, which looking at the time we could start getting into if you'd like.
Sure.
So let's do some final thoughts. What's your final thoughts on the cartoon as a whole?
It was better than most of what DC has produced in a long time on any screen, movie or TV wise. I thought it was better than all the CW shows. I couldn't finish.
I can't stand the CW shows. Yeah.
I'm excited to see where they go with it.
Yeah, I'm excited too. Like I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. Like if you listen to our episode on like our 2020 Didn't Completely Suck Awards, which man, what appropriate year to have been sticking with that title. Every year we do like whatever this year is Didn't Completely Suck Awards, but like man, there was a lot of negative stuff that happened.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And
Apt this year.
2021 hasn't been off to a great start either, without getting too deep into it. But I picked it as like, I don't know, I wanted to add another category as like, so we have more positive things to talk about. So we picked like best surprise, and it's like, this is my best surprise. It was between this and like Avatar living up to the hype.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I'm going to talk about Harley Quinn because I want to do a whole episode on it. So here we are. Yeah. I hope it was fun to listen to. I know we rambled and went on tangents a lot, but
I had a lot of thoughts about a lot of things. I do apologize for that.
Well, Olivia, do you have fun?
Always. Yes.
It's been really exciting seeing you and talking to you again.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah. So I guess we'll do some more final thoughts. What do you think about Harley Quinn in the comics as it is? Like from up to what you've read?
That was it's been an embarrassingly long break. Yeah. I like this. I really like, modern Harley. Like I said at the beginning about Harley being a relatable character, I feel like I didn't explain that as well as I could have. Like her being somebody that like has a place that she lives and she maintains, and she has a group of friends, and she has hobbies, and she has a job, and she has all of these hats that she wears. I feel like that's whether she's punching somebody out at roller derby, or she's, I don't know, punching somebody else for being a scumbag. Like that's
Or she's in a punk rock band.
Yes.
Or she's on Dark Side.
Yeah.
Like I just think of some of the crazier things that happened in that.
Oh yeah, being a woman is hard, and she encompasses that very well, I feel.
Hey, the next episode of the podcast is going to be about gender issues, so we'll probably get into a little bit about how being certain ways are hard.
That's true.
But so yeah, overall I recommend it. I would say it's worth getting HBO Max to watch.
I think so.
I think HBO Max has got a really good lineup of movies and shows. I kind of like it better than Disney.
Yeah, I've watched HBO Max more than Disney Plus, by a lot.
I think HBO
besides
Max,
Mandalorian, Disney Plus, there's.
Well, it's like all right. So my big problems with Disney Plus is, all right. Again, this is probably great if you have kids, because I think it's
a big thing. Yeah.
But neither of us don't have any kids, as far as I know. I don't know what else happened to you last year.
No kids.
Okay. But like, so it's just a bunch of old movies we've seen 1,000 times, which, they screwed up The Simpsons.
Did they? I never watched that. I was never into The Simpsons.
Oh man, I'm huge into The Simpsons. But like, they screwed up the formatting. It's all like cut to widescreen. So they actually cut because it wasn't that. Yeah, it's bad. The Disney afternoon shows, which I was like, oh, maybe I'll watch them. They're out of order and they're missing tons of episodes.
Ew.
She's like, why? You own this? Like this.
Yeah, right? Isn't this yours?
Yeah. All of the original stuff except for Mandalorian has been really bad.
Yeah.
They're super scummy what they did with Mulan for a lot of reasons.
Yeah. I didn't get to watch that yet, and I don't really have any plans.
I wouldn't just because of the Uyghurs thing. Yeah. But like I also wouldn't just because like I love the Mulan the animated episode movie. But like they sucked all the fun out of it, and the live action remakes are just pointless and bad. Like none of them are worth your time.
I liked Cinderella, but that was the only one I liked.
God, I hated Beauty and the Beast. I had a similar reaction to you watching Wonder Woman during that one.
Yeah,
I kind of hated everything that they did in it.
It wasn't.
But like, yeah, I don't know. As of this recording, WandaVision hasn't come out yet. Maybe that'll be good. It's just they released these big walls of logos for Disney and for Marvel and Star Wars and stuff. I'm like, I don't care about any of this. It's just sensory overload.
And I mean, like, I'll watch WandaVision when it comes on. I'll definitely watch Falcon and Winter Soldier when it comes on. But
I know that's going to be your jam. Like, yeah.
But I feel like they should have had more original content on there before.
Well, you don't want High School Musical, the series, or whatever it's called.
But it's so dumb. Yeah, I mean, besides The Mandalorian,
Mandalorian was a nice surprise. I was expecting to like that. Like, very similar to Harley, where I was expecting to like that a lot less. But inversely to Harley, I think season 2 of that was a big step down of season 1.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about that a little bit. People tuned out by now, according to my algorithms. I felt it was very rushed. And I don't like that every episode was more or less about like, here's something that's not from Star Wars beyond the Mandalorian. I liked it when it was smaller and more its own thing. And
I loved it. I mean,
and I hate CGI like young people from Star Wars. They should have just cast Sebastian Stan.
I know. I said that. They should have done exactly
Mark Hamill and
that.
Sebastian Stan have been talking on Twitter about how much they look alike.
It's frightening.
He looks like young Mark Hamill. Or just don't have him take his hood off. We know it's Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, it's okay. We get it.
Like,
yeah.
It always looks real bad. It looks bad. Like, it's gonna look worse and worse as you go. Because like all of the effects in this series, like up till that point, were like actually really great.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh God, this looks terrible. I don't know. I felt like a series finale to me and not a season finale, so I don't know what they're gonna do with it.
Yeah, I mean the finale season 1, it was like, all right, we know exactly where they're going from here, but with season 2, yeah, I don't know where does Kylo Ren go and kill him?
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah.
I hope not.
I think he's one of the Knights of Ren. I think he's in like a Krang like bodysuit. So he's like in the belly of one. And he's like working it like a robot. That's my theory.
Like a baby Bjorn.
Yeah, exactly. Is there one that's like fatter than the others? Because he could just be in it. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't like this is the episode about Bo-Katan. It's the episode about Ahsoka Tano. Oh no, she mentioned Grand Emperor Thrawn, and I'm like, it's a nitpicky thing for me, but like, because it was like every episode was something like that.
Yeah,
I think if maybe like this season, like Boba Fett was just kind of like the overarching, like Star Wars thing to deal with. I'd be like, all right.
Yeah, they packed a lot more.
It was too much.
Yeah.
I did like Boba Fett more than I thought I was going to. I didn't expect them to like kind of be friends.
I loved that.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. I like the Bib Fortuna got real fat when he became the new Jabba. So I guess Boba's gonna get real fat because he also sat on the chair. It's just the curse. I don't know. Like, I didn't hate it. It was still better than your average show, but I liked season 1 just more.
Season 1 was like perfect.
Season 1 was like a revelation. Like season 2 was more like it felt more business as usual, if that makes any sense.
No, it does.
Okay.
Yeah. I still loved it, but
oh yeah, I didn't dislike it. I'm not like mad I watched it. It's like the end of Game of Thrones where like it's so bad it like poisons the series for me. Where like I don't recommend anyone ever watch that show now.
That show erased itself from pop culture.
It was so bad.
I've
never seen a series something that big just drop off completely like that.
It was so bad.
Yeah.
Like it single-handedly, and it did it to itself. It completely just eradicated itself from the pop culture conversation.
Yeah, this showrunners just ran it into the ground to be done with it, to do a new Star Wars trilogy. And because they did such a bad job with Game of Thrones, they got fired from Star Wars.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, just everything sucks.
Yeah, and they had that. I know they had one show that they were in talks with at HBO.
There's been a couple, like there's like House of the Dragon. It's about the Targaryens.
They had
about
one,
a Duncan egg show, I think.
That was like completely removed from Game of Thrones. It was called like Confederacy. It was like about
that show.
Yeah, they won the war, if they won the Civil War, which
I mean,
why?
I mean, that's not a really interesting place to explore. Oh, there's slavery in the whole United States. You know, like
we don't need it. Yeah. It's not something that needs to be followed up.
Read the room a little bit. I especially don't want to hear about that now. Now that we're about to be in Civil War II.
Yeah, right. I think they pulled the plug on that. I don't know that they're actually going through with it.
Oh yeah, they pulled the plug on that a while ago. I forgot that was going to be a thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh, this sounds like a bad idea. Yeah.
A bad decision for D&D.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they haven't had them start doing Dungeons and Dragons yet.
I know, right?
Since their name's D&D.
Yeah, D&D.
Yeah. I hope not. I actually care about Dungeons and Dragons.
They would ruin it. I'm sure they won't touch it.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, have you seen any of the Dungeons and Dragons media? It's all bad. Like, all real bad.
That's a fair point.
Yeah. I'm sure my games, like, as their own story, are like, if I were to like adapt them into a book, like they would be terrible, but like they're fun to play, so who cares?
Oh, yeah, that's all that matters.
We've actually had a couple episodes based on D&D, so people like learn about a little bit about my characters, but like my current character I love, and I'm thinking about replacing my character in my one campaign with her from the like 100 years in the future. So like they're a little bit more confident and stuff. I don't know. I just think they're a more fun character to play. I'm playing this barbarian and like I'm kind of bored, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I just smash things, and this is like, it's my fault. I made his personality extremely boring and bland. So I don't know. I'm trying to transition him to be more Ron Swanson-esque, like self-reliance kind of stuff, but like it's not getting there. Anyway, the show is over. Why are you guys still here? No, seriously, stay tuned for us. Next week, we're going to be talking about genderqueer issues. So until next time, be safe.